saw the film yesterday, and you guys started or introduced the film by dropping a couple names of Tarkovsky and Sokurov. Is that something you guys were aspiring to do? Were you looking towards those guys for
Well, I was
inspiration?
thinking for myself, probably Lisandro didn't like that I did that, because then you raise expectations. And, I was thinking afterwards, actually, that maybe people then felt, okay, this is serious, and maybe they didn't maybe allow themselves to laugh at some of the things that are funny, those early scenes, and just the characters. Don Quixote aspect of trying to figure out things and do his best effort, but the clumsiness of that. Trying to make sense of some of things that don't make sense. But raise expectations too much. But that's what his cinema, his movies make me think of that in terms of their rhythm and their sense of time and place and their kind of their uniqueness. Those movies that come to me, certain movies by those two directors, not just those, but that's why I said it.
Right.
Yeah, I really admire your work, especially from Tarkovsky. Yeah, I really like that. I mean, the things he made.
Right. I thought it was a funny comparison. Not because it's not apt, because I think it is me. But you guys, those are two very pretentious kind of filmmakers. And that's how I think of them. But you guys,
well, if there's something that in December isn't is pretentious.
Yeah, I was going to say you guys don't come across as pretentious, and neither does the film. As you said, there are a lot of humorous moments and kind of more of a mystery kind of sensibility to it than kind of like this hyper seriousness that you feel in some of those other kind of films.
Now, in terms of the rhythm, a movie like Mother, the one about the mother and son, or Stalker. I mean, there's certain parts of their filmmaking of those directors. There's certain times where there's a rhythm that seduces you. It's not a pretentious thing. It's just they're dictating a certain rhythm, a certain pace, a certain framing that pulls you in spite of yourself. Many times you're like, okay, I'm there, and wrestling with it, and now I'm in this strange place, and I'll go with this for however long it goes, for however long it holds my interest. That's what I was referring to.
Yeah, I think, I'm not trying to compare. Yeah, the rhythm and those films, all the films I like a lot. The film itself creates his own unique world, it happens in, I don't know, Tarkovsky or Sokurov or whatever, Bresson or Dreyer, or, they create his own rules, or Osu or whatever, there's 100 of them. And I feel I found those guys, filmmakers of films, like they are more personal and more interesting for me than you know what I'm talking. So that's my opinion about that.
In the film, in the description of the film, it says that it's in Patagonia, but I don't remember there ever being any place in the film where it says that they're actually in Patagonia. Does it say in the film, or do they mention it
in the dialogue?
Yeah.
No, they don't. But if you really, I'm from Argentina, and I can easily realize
see
that those
see the landscape.
Yeah.
And even the Spanish spoken, this guy, Milkivar, the guy with the cane, the sort of highfalutin guy, he's definitely a guy from the capital with airs of
travels to France or whatever.
Who goes to France, and he's putting on airs, and he makes the mistake of, he has this snobbish thing of thinking, because my character's from Europe, that I must speak French, and it's like, we'll speak French, and these peasants, And what he doesn't realize is that I'm basically a peasant from Denmark, and I don't speak French. And he keeps saying things in French till I finally say, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Yeah, and it's just this weird cultural.
I thought it was really interesting that the landscape, for me, almost reflected the mood of the characters. As the film went along, there's like more and more like disillusionment and like fear. Was that something you really were planning in the
we
film?
thought about that can happen. I mean, it started with a very like a sunny, like a sunset near to the ocean, and the film
I hoped it would be that from the places and the season.
Yeah, it's getting harder, you know, from the sand until those black rocks at the end, and suddenly just appearing whatever happened in the castle, in the comfort, in a green, super green garden with a dog, man talking, you know. So very so comfortable, and after you see all the rocks and so cold, and it make a difference.
I know this is the first time you worked with an actual script, right? Is that?
No, I used to work with script. I used the script as a guide. Yeah, just being lost, and because the script is a tool for the DOP, the sound guy, the costume guy, so they know how many nights do they have, how many lights, and blah blah blah, just to organize the work. But I don't really, especially in the films I made before, I know the guys so that much that I don't need to write how is their life, because they have a very like simple life.
Or the dialogue.
They don't talk. I mean, and people ask me why in your films people don't talk, because they are alone. I mean, they're not crazy. Man. Are you talking alone in your home? It's not easy, you know. Maybe you are practicing some character or something.
Yeah, sometimes I'm talking and I don't even realize I was talking. If you spend a lot of time by yourself, which I have sometimes, yeah, you can find it talking or even singing, and like you hear your voice all of a sudden, you go, oh, I said that out loud.
I find myself doing that.
You do that too?
Yeah, I do that too.
Okay. Well, what's wrong?
No, but most of the time you don't.
Yeah, okay. I would start talking alone, you know. That's okay. I would try.
So in this case, though, how much of the script is in the film, and how much of it was
All of it.
just on?
We were pretty. I mean, we were pretty traditional and formal in that sense. That the script that was worked on hard, and that we sort of tweaked together towards the end with Fabian, who came and was on the set. It was very cold there. Remember?
Yeah, he was freezing. Yeah, he was freezing, saying, "What the hell? I don't want to be involved anymore in the shooting."
It's in a tent.
Why people
And we're yelling at him because we're standing around a fire, passing around a bottle of whiskey just to stay warm.
Yeah, why did you choose to do
And like, why did you come all the way here? Why did you go back to Buenos Aires if you're going to be in a tent there like a big baby? Come on out here.
So Fabian was there the whole time for the whole shoot,
He was
or
there
just?
half the time, right?
half of it?
Yeah.
Because he has to go back to work and take care of the baby.
Yeah.
But half of it, the more like he has a very bad luck in the shoot, because he has the more freezing and days of the shooting.
It's true.
You know, there was one of the days.
Well, he was there the whole beginning, and then he was there at the end.
Yeah,
Of
yeah,
course.
yeah.
Really freezing.
Yeah, and actually that night we had to stop the shooting for 15 minutes. We were in the middle of nowhere because there was ice coming from the sky. How do you say that?
Hail.
Hail. Can you believe that? We were in the middle of nothing. I said, what the fuck? We have to restart everything, this movement that we have.
But that was before we went south. That was before we
yeah. So, but it's not happened to me. It's like, okay, we just do like this with the thermopoles and this plastic light reflecting things.
Yeah,
and then because
reflectors.
we don't know. We're too high, you know.
Horses
It's
are
like
going,
no place to run.
No, we didn't have any
and suddenly
trailers or
no,
catering.
No, it's nothing like that.
So when you caught a squirrel, that was craft surface. No, but the script was, I mean, most of the work was done in the years and months before with
Yeah, we talk
Fabian
about
Lisandro,
that.
and when I entered, then helping and making sure that the Danish side of it was just tweaking as he went. By the time we started shooting, we knew what we wanted to do, and we didn't have that many days to do it, and we had to move from big distances to shoot specific scenes in specific places. What did happen, though, from working hard and knowing what the story was and talking about it before, was that when it came to a moment like when you said on the last day in that one region we were in, we need an extra scene with the father and the daughter, so that you understand the affection between them and how much her loss means to him, why he would go literally to the ends of the earth and never give up in his effort to find her. And you were saying you needed one more scene in that. We came up with right there on the spot in Danish, and we translated to Spanish so that you know what it was and approved and made your changes. And within minutes we were shooting. But that's because we knew each other. The actress knew us, we knew her. We knew what the story was about and what the characters were about. It wasn't like we were just like, well, whatever. No, it was specific and what element the dog plays and what shirt.
Yeah, and actually should be that way because it for me was.
But that's from doing
also
that work before. Otherwise, if you don't have a foundation, it's like people that want to just improvise wildly. Sometimes you get lucky, but if you know what the idea is of the scene, then you're going to do an improvisation that might.
No, and also because we did have at that time a lot of big percentage to get lost into the film because we were talking English. There was a Finland guy on the camera. There was a Danish people. There was my guys that they don't even speak a word in English. So what the fuck are you doing? You know, with that. So there was a lot of
situations.
Yeah. So he was talking Danish with the lady. The young lady, she practically doesn't speak any English. So it was in the middle of nowhere trying to communicate ourselves, just to.
And we'd do a take, and I'd be doing. And then when I was speaking Spanish, I was sounding like my dad. Like I speak Spanish like him, normally, fluently. But in the movie, I have this really heavy accent, pretty heavy Danish accent. And we would do a scene, and then I would finish a take, and I'd be laughing. And he goes, "What are you laughing about? It's a serious moment. Like what's going on? What happened?" I'm saying, "No, I'm just thinking of my dad and my brothers and this giving me a crack up." Weird things. And Timo. The sense of humor of a guy from Finland like that is completely different. It's very dry.
It's
and you'd say him on the first day, you say, "What's the matter with?" Because Timo would be sitting on a rock going like this, and we're like running around and hey guys, a lot of yelling, and Timo's just looking out to sea like this. And it was great, like he was suicidal. And he says, "Why is he so sad?" I said, "He's not sad. He's Finnish."
It's okay. It's like that. No, I was
He's
worried.
actually happy. Exactly. He's really, it's beautiful.
Yeah, but by
he's
the
moved by the sea. He goes, really? He's not wanting to just jump off the cliff? I go, no, he's not.
How did Timo come on to the project?
Well, actually, because I just
you admire his work.
Yeah, that first of all, and then I get some sales agent from Germany that knows the Aki's work, and I asked him, "Can you introduce me with Tim?" First with Aki, and Aki was the one who talked to Tim and said, "There's a guy from Argentina. You should just at least give him a chance."
I really like the look of the film, the color tones of the film. It really reminded me of like mid-period Herzog films with that kind of slightly desaturated coloration, but with like reds boosted up a little bit. I really like the color a lot. Was that something you were aiming for, or just kind of happened to
just
capture?
Follow the guy. I think Timo has a strong way of lighting, and I'm not able to say anything against. It's the other way around. So if I go to ask him do what I did before, why I'm calling him, you know? And I guess I learned a lot also by his classical way of doing this dialogue scenes. He's more like a Hollywood studio from the 50s, you know. It's like that kind of guy, that kind of film, you know.
Very
with
precise.
all the sets and the
very precise.
Yeah.
And his lighting
continuity
is theatrical. It's beautiful. And it allows you, before you even realize that you may be in a dream, because it's very realistic behavior, and it's the nervous father and the daughter, and this guy's trying to seduce the daughter, and the seals, and the guy's like eating this bloody piece of meat, fat. It's quite real, and the sounds and everything, but there's already, from the very first shot, there's this crazy fill light, and like you said today, you're talking about the bluish green kind of hue, and it's hyper real, and even before you realize that you may be in a dream, because it doesn't sound like it, and it doesn't really look like it, but it kind of, there's something that's,
I thought
attractive but off. And
when I
it's
was
that
watching
light,
it, it's the lighting, yeah.
Yeah, the light is completely.
It eases you into the rhythm and what
yeah.
the movie's asking you to, how to see the world.
It almost looked like stage lighting,
Exactly.
like, especially the night scenes.
Yeah,
It's like
well, and that dawn shot when everybody went on the horse, it's like, oh fuck, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks like. I mean, but it has his own tone, his own world, you know. And I asked Timo some time far away from everything. Timo, where does it that light came from? And he looked at me from the lab. So don't try to, you know.
That was great.
So what's
That is
that? Shut up, you know. It's,
But that's a typical Finnish, like, to him that was a joke.
Yeah.
And he probably said it to believe.
Yeah, no, it was a joke, but I was
But
don't
from
break
his-
my balls, you know.
Where does this light come from? He goes, from the lamb. From the lamb.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
That's so funny.
And I just, and I was like, yeah, Lisandro, we need to create illusion. It's not cinema, it's not reality, you know. So, but because I came from this documentary kind of following the guys, so I learned a lot. So,
But on the other hand, Timo he never complained about accidents that happened, too. You know, he would set up his lighting, his foundation was that. And he had done all kinds of research. You know, I talked to him, he was talking about it, and he talked to you about it. He'd been, before he went to Argentina to shoot this movie, he'd never been there. He was studying, he was learning about the weather and the climate, and he was looking at lots of photographs online, and he wanted to know what the sun does at different times of the year in Argentina, what the colors are likely to be. I mean, he really did this meticulous, so he had a scheme for how to light. It was very specific, but then shit would happen, and he would go with it.
yeah, and actually for him, he doesn't understand Spanish, not even Danish, so what the fuck is he wrote the lines, but you can change, and he never knew about it.
You know what? I'm going to show you that picture. Is that photo?
Like,
There's a picture. Well, you guys keep talking. But there's a picture that I was describing. You had the Q&A last night. I was describing this picture of him running.
Oh yeah,
Let's see if I can find that.
That's
That
so
is
funny.
fucking hilarious.
yeah. So I mean, it was a very nice.
Maybe I
crew.
could send that to you because you have notes from what we were talking about.
Yeah.
I could send it to you if you give me an email or something.
Yeah, I would-
Let me see if I can find it.
that'd be great. I noticed something. Well, there's two songs in the film, right? There's the song about the Danish girl,
Yeah.
and then there's the ending. There's like the credits.
Which is
song.
a song that specifically, it was written in 1848, the war against Germany. The first of two wars, that medal he wears, that's a service medal that only veterans of both the war of 1848 and the war of 1864 against Germany, the Danes fought.
Oh.
And even farmers who wear it until the end of their days on the farm. They would always wear that medal no matter what. Just, I fought in those wars.
Right.
And that song was written from then. And the song, that melody, was then adopted by Norwegians and by English, and in the American Civil War in the U.S., that became a song. That's a song, if you listen to that melody, I can't remember what the words are in English, but it's a well-known song from the Civil War. Most people think, oh, that's an American song.
How did you find that song?
Because it's really well known, like all school kids learn it in Denmark, and it's a popular song, and it sort of had something strange. It's something he might sing, because he would know it, and he'd just be out there for hours and days writing. But then there's also the subtext, is the words are actually really just the day after the time I had to go away, my girl wanted to go with me.
Right.
And I said, you can't, I'm going off to the war. And it was just like in some twisted way it had to do with the story. And I don't know. It's just those things. But yeah. I mean, that's another thing that people will appreciate on different levels in Denmark. It's like, oh, it's really right for that. I get a strange context. Everything is real, but it's out of context in this movie. The more you move along.
Right. After I had seen the film and I was thinking about it, I guess the main thing I came away thinking from it was about for me it felt like it was a way of processing longing. Was that anything you had thought about?
Añoranza. Era una manera de procesar la idea de añorar.
Either longing or worrying about something or someone that's not near away.
Missing somebody.
Yeah, it's I guess it's from the whole idea came by I lose a girl and I mean not a girl but a couple that I used to be friends with and they just get murdered in Philippines and then I get shocked by that and I start to think about how I can bring that feeling into the film. But also in the previous film I made is more or less about how humans been trying to communicate this, so if they can. I think we are like far away from what we can do, not even with the phones and nothing, as a human, as persons,
Right.
I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. It's like very far away.
Well, I think I'm out of time, but
Okay.
No, you okay if you want to ask more. Well, this is our last one.
Exactly.
Oh,
okay.
Go for it. I mean,
Alright.
kind of looking for pictures.
Well, I had seen that you were selected for the New York Film Fest
Which is great.
program, right?
Yeah.
Congrats on that.
Okay.
Does that mean you already have a project that you're working on, or
Yeah, I
that you're
have some
specifically-
ideas about what maybe locations should be, where I would like to shoot the new film. Probably some place in the jungle out of Argentina, but I have different things, lines of or ideas, and I will try to put them all together in some kind of bag and do some shake, something, and just put it on paper. Which doesn't mean it's gonna be like that, I guess.
Right.
But probably I will take a lot of things from this film which was made together, like the tools and the elements, and I will just try to include it in the new film. As the same scriptwriter probably and some other actors.
Do you think you guys will work together again?
Oh, if I'm lucky, if I'm really lucky.
Likewise. I hope so.
Raya.
No, that's good.
Raya. Eh?
Insecure.
Yeah.
Well, I thank you guys for speaking with me,
No, man, come on, for your time.
and I thank you for the film. 'Cause I really love the film.
Okay.
So.
Hang on one second. Don't go yet. I'm
No,
gonna
sure.
find this picture.
Sure.